Welcome to Vet Review. In this video, we are going to differentiate between the femur of horse, dog, and pig. So let us start with the femur of horse. The first thing that you're going to notice right away is the presence of third trochanter or the trochanter tertius. So first thing, trochanter tertius or the third trochanter is present. So trochanter tertius is present at the proximal 1/3 part of the lateral border. Here see, this is the lateral border and it is present at the proximal 1/3 part of the lateral border of femur. And what is the name? Third trochanter or trochanter tertius. The second thing is that the trochanter major has 3 parts. Okay, so see, this is the model of the femur of ox, and you can see that the trochanter major of ox is undivided. But in case of horse, the trochanter major has 3 parts. Trochanter major has 3 parts. So what are the parts? First we have convexity, that is placed anteriorly. Convexity placed anteriorly. Then just below the convexity we have the crest. Okay, and posteriorly we have the summit. So there are 3 parts of the trochanter major of horse. Okay, but in case of ox, the trochanter major is undivided. The third thing that you're going to see is that the head is very large and prominent, and it has a fovea capitis femoris, which is also present in case of ox. See, this is the fovea capitis femoris, but it is a round structure. Okay, but in case of horse, it is notched. So this is the fovea capitis femoris and it is notched. So fovea capitis femoris is notched. Okay, why it is notched? Because there's an extra ligament in case of horse, that is the accessory ligament. Okay, so this fovea capitis, it provides the attachment to the round ligament of the hip joint, but in case of horse, another ligament called the accessory ligament also attaches here. That is why a notch is present in case of horse. Then you can see that the trochanter minor is very small. Okay, it is not very prominent and it is in the form of a ridge. Is ridge. Okay, so this is the trochanter minor. You can see how small and delicate it is. Okay, so it is in the form of a ridge. And in case of ox, if you remember, the trochanteric ridge here, this trochanteric ridge connects trochanter major and trochanter minor. But in case of horse, you can see that the trochanter major and trochanter tertius are connected by the trochanteric ridge. So instead of having an oblique ridge, the horse has a vertical ridge. Okay, so horse has a vertical ridge that connects the trochanter major and trochanter tertius. Okay, so trochanteric ridge is directed along the length of the bone. Directed along the length of the bone. Okay, it is vertical in direction, but in case of ox, it is oblique. Okay, so these are the points about the femur of horse. Now let us move to the femur of dog. Okay, before starting this, actually, let us take some points which are common to the femur of dog and pig. So we have 2 points. First thing is that the trochanter major doesn't extend above head. Okay, this is an important point. You can see that the trochanter major in case of both dog and pig does not extend above the head, but in case of horse, you can see how big the trochanter major is. Even in case of ox, you can see it is placed higher than the head. Okay, second thing that you cannot see in these diagrams is that the trochlear ridge. So we have 2 trochlear ridges like this. Okay, in case of ox, I hope you can see the medial ridge is much more higher, and the ridges are also placed a little bit oblique. I hope you can see this from this direction. The trochlear ridges are placed a little bit obliquely, and the medial ridge is much larger and it is placed a little bit higher, you can see. But in case of dog and pig, they are of the same size and they are placed at the same level. Okay, so the ridges are of same size. Trochlear ridges are of same size and they are placed vertically or sagittally. Okay, now let us come to the actual points of the femur of dog. Okay, so one thing that you can see is the shaft of the femur of dog is strongly curved in its distal 2/3 part and it is convex in its front part. Okay, this is a slight difference. So in case of ox and horse, you can see the femur is almost straight. Okay, there's no curvature, but in case of dog, you cannot see this in this diagram because this is the posterior view. I hope you can see this thing I've written here. Right femur, posterior view. This is the lateral aspect. This is the medial aspect in all three cases. Okay, so that is why you cannot see it in this diagram, but the femur of dog has a curvature. The second thing is that the posterior surface is bounded by two rough lines. Here, I've drawn them here. Okay, so posterior surface is bounded by two rough lines which diverges towards the extremity. So you can see one line goes here and the other line goes here. Okay, they diverge towards the extremity, both proximally and distally actually. Okay, the second thing is that the anterior surface of the trochanter major has a thick ridge which connects the anterior surface of the trochanter major to the neck. So I'm just taking the help of this femur of ox. So see, this is the trochanter major and this is the neck. So the trochanter major and the neck are connected by a ridge on the anterior surface in case of dog. Okay, now again this is the posterior view, so you cannot see it. You can see it in the anterior view. Okay, so trochanter major and the neck connected by a thick ridge anteriorly. Connected by ridge anteriorly. Okay, now one important thing, same in the case of dog as in horse, that the trochanter minor is not prominent. It is very delicate. It is not elongated like in that of horse. So in horse it is like a ridge, it is a little bit elongated, but in case of dog it projects like a blunt tuberosity. Okay, a very small blunt tuberosity. So trochanter minor is blunt. Okay, it projects like a blunt tuberosity. So these are the points of the femur of dog. One thing that is special about the dog is the presence of fabella. So these two bones right here, they are fabella. Okay, so the distal part of posterior surface of the femur of dog will have articular facets for the articulation of the femur with fabella. Okay, just above these two condyles. Okay, so I'll just make a start here. Fabella is present, okay, above each condyle. Fabella is present. And what are fabella? So fabellas are sesamoid bones. Okay, they are sesamoidian bones of the gastrocnemius muscle. And if you remember, see, gastrocnemius muscle originate from the supracondylar crest, lateral and medial. Okay, so the lateral head of the gastrocnemius originate from the lateral supracondylar crest, and same is the case with the medial head. Okay, it originates from the medial crest. So at this location, just above the condyle, you have the articular facet for the articulation with the fabella. Okay, so fabella, what is fabella? Fabella is the sesamoidian bone for the gastrocnemius muscle present in case of dog. Okay, So these are the differential points for the femur of dog. Now let us move to the femur of pig. Now the femur of pig is a very massive bone, just like in case of horse. Okay, so it is a very massive bone and its four surfaces can be easily recognized. Okay, so in case of ox, horse and dog, what you're going to see is that the surfaces are very rounded, right? So except for the posterior surface, the other surfaces are continuous. Okay, but in case of a pig, the four surfaces are easily recognized. Okay, they are very well separated. Now the posterior surface itself is limited laterally by a ridge extending from the trochanter major to the lateral supracondylar crest. See, I have made a line here. This. Okay. So the lateral border of the posterior surface, it is marked by a thick ridge, a very long ridge extending from the trochanter major to the supracondyloid crest, lateral supracondyloid crest. Okay, so four surfaces. Second thing, lateral ridge on posterior surface. Then the supracondyloid fossa is absent. Okay, so in case of dog, it is present, very less prominent. In case of horse, it is very prominent. In case of horse, the supracondyloid fossa is very prominent. In ox, not so prominent. In dog, very, very shallow. But in case of pig, it is absent. Okay, so supracondyloid fossa is absent in case of pig. Now the trochanter major does not extend above the head, and ridges of the trochlea, they are the same size. These points are the same as in case of dog. Okay, so the trochlear ridges, they are the same size, and the trochanter major doesn't extend above the head. Okay, it doesn't extend above the head. So see the line, they do not extend, but see here how higher this trochanter major extends. Okay, so this is it for this video. I hope you like this video. If so, then please leave a like, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.